Yae Miko was easily one of the most anticipated playable characters to come out of Inazuma. Now that she's been out for about a week now, I thought it would be worth going over what she has to offer and if she was really worth the wait. Should you pull for her, wait for her rerun, or skip Miko entirely? Let's talk about it. Yae Miko has a very unique playstyle about her, with her standout mechanic being her Fox turrets. These turrets deal periodic AoE electro damage while they're on the field, and they're very easy to spam, meaning that they can be on the field pretty much 100% of the time. You can only have 3 of them on the field at a time though. However, the more turrets you have on the field, the more damage they'll put out. These turrets stay on the field even after you switch Miko out for another character, which makes for great elemental reaction potential if you plan to run her as a sub DPS or purely as an electro applicator. Yae Miko's elemental burst deals a great amount of damage, but it only truly blossoms if you have all 3 turrets out on the field before casting it. Her elemental burst will produce an initial lightning strike, followed by even more lightning strikes corresponding with how many turrets you have on the field at that moment. These lightning strikes will often produce more damage than the initial strike itself, so it's important to make sure that you have as many turrets out as possible before casting her elemental burst. While Miko is a great electro DPS to have, she gets better the more you invest into her. At C0, she will need a battery like Fischl or ideally the Raiden Shogun, since her burst cost is quite high. However, if you have her at C1 or above, her energy recharge becomes less of a problem, and she becomes more flexible to use in a bunch of other team combinations. As you go up in the constellations, you'll notice that there's a significant focus on her elemental skill, with her C6 allowing her elemental skill damage to ignore 60% of an enemy's defense. That, and the fact that she has a low base HP and defense, leads us to believe that she was designed to be more of an off-field DPS. But there's nothing wrong if you wanted to use her as a main DPS if you really wanted to. There were many rumours going around about Yae Miko's playstyle, and whose it would be similar to. Some people thought she was going to play fast like Yanfei, others thought she'd play slower like Ningguang. But the most hyped up assumption about Miko was that she was going to be the electro equivalent of Ganyu and Hu Tao, basically a very broken and very overpowered character. And because this was the big rumour going around about Miko, some people now see her as an underwhelming unit. What's my take? Well, as somebody who's been playing around with Yae Miko pretty much since I got her, I can safely come to the conclusion that while she may not be a broken and overly powerful unit, she is still OP in her own way. She can still put out a lot of damage over a short space of time, even though she isn't a damage per snapshot character like Hu Tao. Rather, her damage is dispersed and her damage adds up greatly. She is purely there to be a constant electro damage dealer, whether she's on the field or off the field. While this is great, this isn't what people were expecting her to be. People had the idea that Miko was going to be putting out huge damage per screenshot numbers, and that she would be doing wonders for the electro elements, an element that does need a buff. It doesn't help that there are some things about her that are buggy, like where her turrets aim at times, or how clunky her auto attacks can feel. But in my opinion, and for the most part, if you look past the issues, Yae Miko is a character with a very unique and almost specialised playstyle. Anyone who mains Yae Miko right now can tell you that once you get the hang of her and know how to integrate her into teams, she can be incredibly valuable. The learning curve for Miko is a steep one, but like all characters, it's worth it if you did want to give her the time of day. Should you pull for Yae Miko? I guess that's the real question here. And my answer is that it depends on what you need most for your accounts. First and foremost, Yae Miko is not a must pull, of course. Dare I say, Yae Miko is a luxury. You don't need to have her, she's just nice to have. If you don't know whether you should pull for her or not, I would say pull for her if you use the electro element a lot, or if you're looking for an Electro DPS. As an Electro main, Miko has low-key been a game changer for me, and I am absolutely loving playing with her. Once you understand how she works, and once you put in a good amount of investment into her, she becomes incredibly fun to play with. It also becomes fun to see who she goes with, since she can be the jack of all trades. She can be a main DPS, a sub DPS, an off-field DPS, or even just a constant Electro applicator. This makes her quite flexible, and she becomes even more flexible if you have her at C1 or above, since you don't need to run her with a battery character. But is she a must-have like any of the Liyue big three? Not at this moment in time. Unless Dendro comes along and somehow buffs Miko, or buffs the Electro element as a whole, which is very copium, you can afford to skip out on her at this time. If you're still unsure or on the fence about pulling for Miko or not right now, feel free to wait and see what the community thinks about her over time. It's not the end of the world if you don't pull for her now, since she will probably get another rerun at some point before the end of the year. Alternatively, you could just pull for her because she's pretty and that she has a nice voice, and that's a totally valid reason to pull for her as well. In my opinion, Miko is just very fun to play with, and honestly, I'm very happy with her. As for me, my plan is to triple crown my Miko, in fact. Is it necessary? No. Am I doing it anyway? Yeah. I don't care, it's just a game, it's not that deep, she makes me happy. Goodbye.
Hey there. If you like Genshin Impact, Animal Crossing or games in general, join our chill Discord server. Thanks and have a nice day.